30 ingested disinfected cases surface in New York after Trump's injection comments. Miami goes 7 weeks without a homicide. And COVID-19 creates Maryland's unprecedented congressional election. All this and more today on The Diamond K Show. Welcome back to the program, episode 420. My name is Diamond K. Radio on Fire provides the latest in breaking news, entertainment, and political stories that matter to you from my point of view. Let's dive in. By now, you've heard President Trump's comments. He's now trying to walk back and act like he was joking around. But clearly, he was being serious. So, Trump, in his infinite wisdom, or, infinite stupidity, during a press briefing, he made comments suggesting that people inject cleaning products into their body to combat the coronavirus. Now, since then, cleaning companies, Poison Control Center, everyone has been trying to discourage people from taking the actions that this president so foolishly suggested. Now they're saying the Poison Control Center in New York is saying that there are 30 cases of possible exposure to disinfectants between Thursday and Friday of last week, which came after Trump made the comments. Trump often talks and brags that he's so smart, that he's a stable genius. But clearly, comments like this and others prove that he is not smart at all. Unfortunately, people around this country and around the world take statements made by the president, even this president, serious when he may not. Governors Larry Hogan of Maryland, Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan said today that they want the president to focus more on the facts. His comments that disinfectants could potentially be injected as a remedy for this caused a surge in phone calls to emergency hotlines. A president, someone who is in control of the country, arguably the most powerful man in the world. Any little thing that pops in your head, you can't just say it out your mouth. As an adult, we learn these things, right? The president is putting people's lives in danger. Yes, I don't listen or take seriously what he says, but there are many people around this country that take what President Trump says as being true statements. And typical fashion, Trump tried to spin it, act like he was joking. Clearly he was not. And you have people, part of the task force, supposedly respected doctors, spinning and carrying water for the president. It is appalling and it is pathetic. It's pathetic. Doctors that are part of this coronavirus task force are losing credibility by the day. So the next press conference that the president gave on Friday, he didn't take any questions because he's so thoroughly embarrassed and he's been exposed for his buffoonery, and he didn't even want to take any questions. And now he's probably not going to have any press conferences because his stupidity has been exposed even further. He's a laughing stock. But here's the thing, it's not even funny. It's not funny that the president would suggest something so asinine. It's nothing funny about it. In New York, after this press briefing that we're speaking of, according to spokespersons from the Poison Control Center of New York, said that they had a total of 30 cases of possible exposure to disinfectants between Thursday and Friday. It's right after he made those statements. Luckily, hospitalization was not needed for all of the people. But it's things like this. If President Obama had done anything like this, people would be calling for his head. But you have people like Sean Hannity, people on the right who defend everything that the president says, and all they say is, he closed the country down. Give him some credit. This is a grown man acting like a child. He wants credit. He wants credit. Credit for what? When you speak about the over 50,000 people, Americans that are dead, we're nearing the numbers of Vietnam. In 10 years, you almost had 60,000 people die in Vietnam. In a few months, we were at those same horrific numbers. There's nothing funny about that. This is not a time for president to make a joke, supposed joke, because he's mad at the media. It is more than irresponsible. It's beyond irresponsible. And the way that people on the right, people in the president's circle, defend, deflect, and try to make excuses for this president, it is borderline criminal. Take a break, come back with more of the program. You listen to the Diamond K Show. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the program. Your man Diamond K in here, of course, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at the Diamond K Show. So, according to reports, the homicide rate in Miami has dropped considerably, as there were no homicides in Miami in the last 7 weeks. This has not happened since 1957, according to the Miami Police Department. So police reported that from February 17th to April 12th, Miami had no reported homicides. Now, that is a great feat. This news comes after the mayor of Miami declared the state of emergency back on March the 12th. Of course, from the COVID-19 pandemic, police noted that the rates of other types of crimes have dropped as well, including domestic violence. However, the Miami police chief said that he is worried about the instances of child abuse and domestic violence that may be getting underreported during this stay-at-home order. So, with no homicides in the last 7 weeks, police previously had run in people at the Miami beach after shooting took place, and what resulted in one person being hospitalized. So, just comparatively, the last 30 days here in Baltimore have seen 21 homicides. 21. The city is right ahead of where we were this time last year as it relates to homicides. So definitely Baltimore having some work to do in that regard. So, when you talk about the COVID-19, you talk about the stay-at-home orders, many states around this country are, under quarantine. Many cities under quarantine. Chicago is one of the cities where Americans have been hit hard by the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. Hit hard. However, that did not seemingly stop almost 1,000 people from attending a house party on the west side of Chicago. Footage surfaced that showed many people packed in the living room, partying, smoking, while music is playing. One of the guests who allegedly attended the party said that there were 1,000 people there. Now, of course, people want to keep morale high during this, and Chicago being a tough city, and as I said, hit hard by the coronavirus. Rappers like Lil Durk have sent meals to healthcare workers and hospitals, people that are on the front lines, people that are really risking it all for this. But violating the order in such a brazen fashion cannot be, it's just not smart. It's not smart. It's too soon to attend a party, a house party. It's just too soon for that. So some people just don't get it. Some people are not taking this serious enough. I don't know whether they need to be hit personally, whether they need to have something more directly hit them in order for them to take this pandemic serious. But something has definitely got to give. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the program after this.
Do you have a business, product, or event that you need to promote to men and women ages 23 to 44? If so, Radio on Fire can help you do it with one of our promo packages. Our broadcasts reach over 150,000 people per month. Sponsorship for one or all of our radio programs can include live mentions, social media posting, commercials, and more. Visit radioonfire.com/advertise to find out more about a promo package that fits your needs. Rates start as low as $50. If you want to reach men and women ages 23 to 44, log on now, radioonfire.com.
Welcome back to the program. More than 100 inmates have tested positive for COVID-19 at Colorado's largest prison. Previously, over 1,300 inmates tested positive in Ohio. Now, news surfaces that 130 inmates in Colorado's Department of Corrections, the Sterling Correctional Facility, tested 473 inmates and received 255 results since Friday. 104 of the results were negative, 12 were inconclusive, one was unsatisfactory, and reports note that 138 inmates tested positive for the virus. The widespread testing in the prison started after 8 inmates tested positive. So that is something that we definitely need to watch. The Department of Corrections Executive Director Dean Williams issued a statement saying, given the insidious nature of this virus, we suspect that despite seeing a relatively low number of inmates with symptoms, the number of positives was potentially much higher. Reports also note that the SCC has been on lockdown since April the 14th, and inmates and staff members are required to wear masks. Along with that, inmates located on the east side of the building are getting their temperatures checked twice a day. Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp has reopened the state for business. Even his dear leader, Donald Trump, is distancing himself from Kemp. The governor seems to be unfazed by the criticism that he's receiving from mayors in his state, and as I said, even President Trump criticizing the governor. So as the death toll in this country has surpassed 50,000, Kemp, who is a first-term Republican, one of the last governors to impose a stay-at-home order back on April the 3rd, is one of the first states to reopen, claiming that there was favorable data. And he famously said that he did not even know that asymptomatic people could transfer, and this was the beginning of this month. The president did reiterate on Friday that his most recent stance it was too soon for Georgia to open up, but Kemp had already committed, and he's already been called a Trump lackey and a lapdog. So he wanted to appear to stick to his guns. That the president has been urging governors throughout the country to begin lifting restrictions, but then on the other hand, he, chastises Georgia's governor. Very, just inconsistent with the message. Very inconsistent. So not all businesses in Georgia that could reopen choose to, but for some, they're taking appointments. Others are just not opening just yet. So you have a lot. I mean, people have lost graduations. They've lost weddings. They've lost proms. All of these things have a trickle-down effect. Many stores closing permanently. A lot of people don't realize that if the nation stays shut too much longer, there are going to be severe consequences. But on the other hand, what consequence is more severe than death? So people have to decide if they are willing to put themselves, at risk of getting sick because they want to restart things. You can open your doors, but if people don't come in, you're still gonna close, and you potentially could be dead, depending on your circumstances. So the very, very, very dangerous moves by Governor Kemp to open Georgia in a very laxed way. There have, according to the Georgia Department of Public Health, as of Friday, there have been 892 deaths in the state related to COVID-19. The NBA shut down its season after a Utah Jazz player contracted coronavirus, and since then, many states have put the lockdown in place to lessen the spread of this virus. Now, news is surfacing that the NBA plans on reopening practice facilities in certain states that have laxed their lockdown measures. So players will be allowed to use facilities for individual workouts, and this is all on a voluntary basis. I'm sure that all players are not going to do this, but some players have left from the area where the team plays. They may be able to practice at potential open facilities on a limited basis. And when you talk about states that have laxed things, Georgia obviously being one, Georgia has moved forward to opening certain types of businesses, including gyms. Some players are asking teams, should they consider traveling to Georgia so they can work out? Players that live in states where things are still very tight. Organization wants players to remain safe and clean. The fitness centers in suburban Atlanta is not where they want them to go, and noted they want to use the NBA practice facilities. There is no indicator as to if or when the 2019-2020 NBA season will start back up. There have been talks of Christmas. Who knows? Christmas season. Who knows? Definitely going to continue to watch this one. Let's take a quick break and come back with more of the program. Lastly, coronavirus has created a situation that we have not seen before. It's a very confusing run-up to a special election, as I said, created by the coronavirus, an unprecedented congressional election for the late Elijah Cummings seat. Ballots cast in Maryland's election, which is between Kwesi Mfume and Kimberly Classic. These mailed-in votes are going to be quarantined for 24 hours after the polls close before they're counted to give any potential germs a chance to die. We want to protect election workers. This is one of the safety measures that is being taken, and as I said, it's unprecedented. A Maryland election, which is this Tuesday, that will only have 3 places, 3 for in-person voting, all because of the coronavirus. So the mail-in ballots locations, as I said, there are 3, and that's going to be at Edmondson High School in Baltimore City, Martins West in Baltimore County, and the Howard County Fairgrounds. This Tuesday, those centers will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it's a very strange thing. The precautions, you definitely want the precautions to be taken. The candidates haven't been able to really campaign in a traditional sense. Kimberly Classic is very active on social media. I don't believe that Kwesi Mfume was that active previously, but this is something that he has to do. Classic, if you remember, is the Republican who, went on Fox News and caught the attention of the president and really helped spark this whole rat-infested, commentary that the president did and the disrespectful things that he was saying. But rat-infested is a bit far. Every town has rodents, but to say that Baltimore was rat-infested is a bit far. But definitely needs work. So Classic, she made her name doing that, and it's ironic that Kimberly Classic, wants this seat, but she speaks so badly about Baltimore. But Baltimore encompasses a great deal of her constituents. So Kwesi Mfume, former NAACP head, who held the very seat for 5 terms from 87 to 96. But he says he's been working hard on social media. The man who won his first race for the Baltimore City Council back in 1978. And he says he's not taking anything for granted. So Mfume is a strong supporter of gun control measures. Classic is advocating to help struggling parts of Baltimore through the opportunity zones. Opportunity zones is something that President Trump speaks about. He likes that. This is going to be very interesting. There's been a lot of funky stuff going on with regards to the ballots, the mailed ballots. Some people saying they didn't get them, all kind of stuff. So what is ironic in these times, it is possible that something crazy could happen and Kimberly Classic could win. It's possible. Crazier things have happened, like Trump. But this whole thing is strange and seems very foreign. So the winner of this will run as the incumbent in the state's crowded June 2nd primary for a full term. We're not even done with this yet, okay? After Tuesday's race, whoever wins that, they're going to be the incumbent, right? And then the June 2nd, thing goes. It's a whole thing. This is not over by far. Of course, you've been listening to the Diamond K Show daily, Radio on Fire, or anywhere you get podcast. You can check out the show, the archives, exclusive content, and become a member at radioonfire.com/join. These are fascinating times that we live in, and whether it is politics, social issues, entertainment, we are in the midst of something that we've never seen before. Join me daily on the Diamond K Show as I give you my thoughts and break down news and so much more. As I said, hear the program on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, Libsyn, Facebook, Instagram. Just search The Diamond K Show or subscribe today at youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. I'll see you guys tomorrow.